My name is Victor Furman. Some call me the Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me now and we will explore these topics and so much more with fascinating guests, authors, and experts who will guide us to Destination Unlimited. How may you bring greater abundance into your life by using energy constructively with strategies and tools to activate the 9 areas in your home, office, and garden? My guest this week on Destination Unlimited, Janine Lowe, says applying the ancient Chinese art of Feng Shui is the key. Janine Lowe wasn't designed for a 9-to-5 job, and she wanted to use what she was good at, intuition and metaphysics, as a career. A lovely friend suggested Feng Shui, and she trained with various masters and became a Feng Shui consultant. Meeting people and being able to transform their lives in such a positive way has brought her immense joy and fulfillment. Her website is janinelowe.co.uk, and she joins me this week to share her path and new book, Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance. Please join me in welcoming to Destination Unlimited, Janine Lowe. Welcome, Janine.
Hi, Victor. Looking forward to speaking to you today.
Janine, your biography says you were intuitive as a child, and this did not find favor with your mom. Please share with us your early path and how this manifested for you.
Okay, so basically, from a very early age, I would know that someone was knocking on the door. I mean, like 5 years old. And I'd go to the door and tell them to open the door. My mum used to get freaked about it. Also, before the phone rang, as I grew older, I say, oh, the phone's ringing, and there would be nobody. It wasn't ringing in the house. And my mum was brought up as a devout Catholic. And basically, all these weird things I did were not weird to me because I didn't know they were weird, remember. She started to get really upset about it. And I used to see things before they happened. And on one day, I think I was about 16 or 17 then, and I saw a car accident. And it was my boyfriend to be at the time, or actually was my husband in the end. And I described it to her. And 3 days later, he was involved in this major car accident. As it happened, so was I. And the picture that I saw was when I was outside of the car with him in the car in flames. The car had been hit from behind and it had gone up in flames. She was so upset by this, she brought a priest round to see me. Mm. Yeah. So she's literally, all my life, she really struggled with this. So in the end, I learned to hide it from her. In fact, the priest was actually the person that said to me, Janine, I believe you see these things. He went all over, Peru and all this sort of thing. He was very, very knowledgeable. And he said, you just need to keep it to yourself. So that was it. I went into hiding until I married my husband. And then I was allowed to unleash my intuition everywhere.
I had a very similar upbringing, except my parents would say that when I would share something before it actually happened, that I had an overactive imagination until the phone rang with the word or whatever the message might be. And they understood that that's where my talent was coming from at the time, that I was intuitive and I was open to energy. And do you have any advice for parents who have children who are manifesting these things now?
Oh, yeah, I have lots of different forms of advice. And the main thing is listen to them, because as soon as you start to make them feel unheard, awkward or whatever, then when they get to school and they start to be around people, it can lead to bullying. So they need to know that you believe in them and they can talk to you about it. And, that you really, I think it's the belief that you're not making it up, because when you're a child, you don't know what this intuition is. It's only as you get older, it gets a title for you. So I think, and in fact, I have a son and he was very intuitive. And growing up, I used to play the game with him so that he would think it was like magic. And, you know, he loved Harry Potter and all this. So he started to see, and I know it's funny saying Harry Potter, but Harry Potter made so much more sense to him because he was so intuitive. And it made him feel that he wasn't alone. And I think when you are intuitive as a child, or you see things or hear things or feel things, like when you go into a room and you see people and it makes you feel uncomfortable, if you can make that seem that that's okay, they can come to you, I think that makes a difference.
Absolutely. Listening is the key word and not dismissing what they're sharing with you. And I think that's wonderful advice. So
Yeah,
tell us
exactly.
about your mentor, Joey Yap, and what you learned from him about Chinese astrology and metaphysics.
So, being an intuitive, I was told to hide it. And one of my girlfriends said to me, "Oh, why don't you learn Feng Shui?" So I was like, right, okay, I'll learn Feng Shui, which actually made a lot of sense to me, and we can go into that later. But this young chap called Joey Yap came over from Malaysia, and he was in London, and I went to watch him. And he's all about metaphysics. So basically, metaphysics is if you place this here, this will happen. If I do Chinese astrology readings, which I do full time, it's all metaphysics. So I went and studied under him and learnt so much. And it was a really good thing because when people say to me, Janine, you know, what do you know about me? I say, give me your date of birth, and I can tell them so much about themselves. They're like, oh, you've got it so precise. All underneath this metaphysics, I'm allowed to be intuitive. So for me, Joey Yap being very straight, and this is this, you know, very, he comes from Malaysia, so what he says is, it was a great help to me. And so it gave me a, what do you say, forum? No, something that I could go out and share with other people without having to share my intuition, which a lot of people didn't understand 20 years ago. But I think now people understand it much better.
Western astrology had its foundation in Mesopotamia and later in Greece. Is there a big difference between Chinese and Western astrology?
Well, it's interesting. Carmen, who's a Western astrologer, her and I are writing a book together. And by writing it, we've learnt that actually there is so much the same. It's unbelievable. I use Chinese animals. She uses the sun signs. In Chinese astrology, they use the stars. And in Western astrology, they use the moon cycle. So there is a huge crossover with both of them. And both of them are, of course, right. So if you were speaking to a Western astrologer about what's today all about, they might say, oh, it's a really good day to do this. Whereas I would say it's a very auspicious day to launch your book or something like that. So that's for me is what I love about the pair of them together, Western and Eastern astrology. There is definitely an affiliation there.
And in Chinese astrology, what year is this? The year of the what?
This year is the year of the wood dragon. So the wood dragon this year is all about change. I don't know how you felt this year's been, but everyone's been like, oh, I was going to do this, but everything changed. And the way to go through 2024 is to not go with the flow, but make the changes you need to make your life happier.
Absolutely. How did the study of Feng Shui manifest for you?
So Feng Shui, to me, when I was looking at it, it used to be adverts where this man was drinking some sort of beer with a fridge and a chair or something like that, just sitting there. There was nothing else in the room. My friend Lizetta said to me, because of my intuition, she said, I think this is something you could learn. So I started to learn Feng Shui. And the interesting thing about it, as soon as I started to put it into action, like we'll go in a bit later, say I was like clearing a room, etc., you would start to see the energy change. So Feng Shui, the idea is that if you Feng Shui a room, which can be from decluttering to making sure all the elements in the room are right, you then start to see the energy move and things start to happen. And in your house, there are 9 different areas. Maybe I'm going a bit too fast here. But there are 9 areas in your house. And if you work on any part of that particular area. So for instance, right, so the book's Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance, right? So abundance is generally in the northeast of your house. Okay, so then when you work on that part of your house, then wealth comes in.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments.
Okay.
For those who are not familiar with Feng Shui, please tell us about the history of it, what it actually means, and how it applies.
So Feng Shui is, I don't know, 2 billion years old. It's not that far, but it's a massive thing. They used to use it many years ago. And Feng Shui, Feng means water and Shui means wind. So when you Feng Shui a house, say for instance, I've been brought in by a company to Feng Shui their building. I work for a lot of companies who want to either launch products or bring more money in. And each year I go in, and what I have to do, because I will have set up the company really well for the directors and everything, I then go in and place water for the year. And it's got to be moving water. People say, oh, can I put a picture of a waterscape up? And I'm like, no, you have to have moving water. So in a company, it could be like a fountain in the foyer or a very large fish tank, because it's got to be moving water. It can't be, you can't use water where there's a sundial, depending on the sun, especially in the UK, because we have not got a lot of sun over here. So it's about placing water. And what the idea of it is, if you have, trying to think of the thing, acupuncture. Yeah, so if you have acupuncture, there's different parts of your body, and when they press on them, it starts to activate your body to make you feel well. So that happens in a house as well. So what you do is, in a house, you activate the house by placing water at a certain time and a certain area of the house. I mean, that's the more complicated stuff. But you can Feng Shui your own house with really easy ways, from decluttering to changing the color of the room to making the furniture in the right place, all those sorts of things.
Congratulations on your just published today book, Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting. I've been waiting 18 months from the publishers to get it to brought out. So when it came out today, I've been like, it's like, I don't know what, it's like a party. It's just amazing. And I can't believe all these people, like there's thousands of people are going to have this book through their letterbox today. And yeah, it's quite daunting and a lovely feeling and a little bit of nervousness, but yeah, very exciting.
What inspired you to write this book, and how does it differ from other books on the subject?
Okay, what inspired me? So I did write a book that came out last year, Date, Love, Marry, Avoid, and that's all about Chinese astrology. But I've always wanted to write a book on Feng Shui because my passion for Feng Shui is so huge, and because I've seen it actually work amazingly, I wanted to write a book that was easy to implement. Let's use that word. Easy to pick up the book. Yes, I can find the center of the house. Yes, that's where the relationship area is. Yes, I'll go and work on it. How do I need to work on it? And the book tells you. It then gives you examples of how I Feng Shui people with the same things going on. For instance, I had a lady who wanted to meet a partner. She'd been with her husband since she was at school, and unfortunately he passed. This is a true story. And so all her friends and family, after 6 years, saying, "Look, you need to bring someone in." And she was like, "Oh, I don't know, Janine, what do you think?" And I said, "Well, let me come along and talk to you." So I went along. We found out where the relationship for her was in the house. Interesting enough, she had all her husband's clothes in it. So it was quite an easy thing to do. So we decluttered that part of the house. And then she had to paint a wall red. That was just to activate the room and everything. Anyway, she contacted me about 3 months later, and she was in I don't know, the shopping Asda's or one of these shopping malls. And this guy came up to her, and she'd gone to school with him as well. Turns out his wife had died of the same as her husband. And she
Oh,
said, oh, we've just started dating. Well, she said, I don't like to call it dating. We're just meeting up and having coffees. But basically, they were dating. So, yeah, it was really, really magical. But that's the power of Feng Shui.
we're going to touch upon some of these aspects of it a little bit later, but the fact that she had maintained her husband's clothing in that area of the house connected to romance and relationship, what negative effect did that have?
It meant he was still in her energy. And it's not that she wanted to get rid of his energy. She didn't want to get rid of his energy. Basically, keeping hold of his clothes meant that he was still with her. And the point of, well, obviously I didn't know when I went there that his clothes would be in the area that we needed to sort out, because I don't know where it's going to be until you get the compass out. So as soon as we removed them, it was like the staleness, not stale about her husband, the staleness of that area started to move. And because I gave her action manifesting, because manifesting is amazing, but you have to take action. The energy started to work.
Talk a little bit about the compass. You had mentioned the compass to locate these various areas of the home that have the 9 centers. What is the compass and how is it used?
Right, so you can get a basic compass, absolute basic compass. If you're using your phone, which a lot of people do, make sure you take off all your jewelry, because your phone can be affected by magnetic stuff around. So what you have to do is find the center of your house. And everyone's like, oh, how do you do that? Well, it shows you in my book, I must tell you that. But well, the thing is, you say you had a square room, you just walk the horizontal and walk the diagonal, then go in. Say it was 10 steps one way and 10 steps the other, and you go in until you've got right in the middle. So 5 steps in. That's the easy way. But houses aren't always like that. Sometimes you get horseshoes. Sometimes you have houses with missing spaces. When that happens, I have written in the book how to do it. But let's talk about having a straight and easy center today. So when you stand in your house, each degree has a different section in your house. So if you were standing and your compass said 0 degrees, that would be the north. And in the north, that's all about your career. So that if you wanted to work on your career, you'd go to the north. If you wanted to work on your relationships, you would go to standing in the middle, 220 degrees. You always have to be standing in the middle. If you take it from a different angle, you're not going to get it right. So 220 degrees would be your relationship area. And if you were like looking to like meet somebody, you'd find that area and then you would carry out doing the Feng Shui in there. Other people are looking for fame, which is actually 180 degrees. So you would get your compass, 180 degrees, go there. So in my house, I went to a charity function and unbeknownst to me, I bid, when I knew I bid, but I didn't think I'd win, a great picture of Brad Pitt in the Fight Club. So that sits firmly there, yeah, because obviously I'm looking for fame, or meet Brad Pitt, either way, it works for me. But yeah, so there's different areas in the house that focus on what you want. Like I have made in my life 9 babies. People who haven't been able to have babies have brought me in, and I've feng shuied the house. Found babies are found in the west of your house at 270 degrees. So obviously you can imagine what I asked them to do to have babies in 270 degrees. But we picked exact days and hours, and they should go and find their baby there. Let's put it that way. The other big thing I get called in for, obviously wealth and abundance is one, and that if you stand in the middle of your house is 30 degrees. People they want wealth and abundance, but sometimes abundance isn't always about money. And so I think it's an important part of everybody's world to have abundance in what they want. So in Feng Shui, your way to abundance, basically each area is covered, so you know where you would go to find your abundance. I mean, some people want helpful people in their life. Can I tell another little quick story?
Please.
Right. So I was brought in by a lady, and she was really quite lonely, well, very lonely. But she was like, she liked to be by herself, but that's another story. So I got called in by her family. So I went into this very timid little, well, not little, she was about in her 40s. And the house was perfect, you know. I was like, how am I going to find anything that I need to do in this house? So, but then when she told me that she wanted to meet someone, you know, people, she didn't want to meet a partner, she wanted to meet people. I went to the northwest of her house where helpful people are. And we spoke about it. And I said, well, why do you find it difficult to bring people in? She said, oh, I just don't like them to have my house untidy. I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, you haven't even got a cat. Oh, no, cats are, you know, they'll make your house untidy. So my suggestion, we did some Feng Shui in the Northwest, and my suggestion was that she went and did some charity work. Interesting enough, she went to a charity that looked after cats. She wanted a cat, but she didn't want the cat to mess up the house, yeah? You know, says her, this is me, right? I actually look after street cats and find them homes. But anyway, moving on. So Louisa did this. She went and did this. She loved doing this charity work. And then she got to meet people with like-minded ways. And the last time I heard from her, which I think was about 6 months ago, she had fostered 2 elderly cats. So she had broken through the fact that she didn't want any in her house. She had brought them home. And this was, as far as I was concerned, was going to help with her sort of OCD. And yeah, so helpful people was in the Northwest. And, you know, for Louisa, it was a change of life thing to happen. I mean, you know, I give you ideas what to do, but it's up to you. And then you take the action in the Feng Shui.
My guest is Janine Lowe. Her brand new book just published, Feng Shui, Your Way to Abundance. Janine, please share with our listeners where they can get your book and find out more about you and your wonderful work.
Okay, so I believe you have a book company called Barnes & Noble. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So it's on pre-order now in Barnes & Noble and Amazon. That's, I think, it's in America. In the UK, we have different places like WH Smith, a whole load of them. But Amazon seems to be the prime one. I luckily hit number 1 and number 2 in Amazon, which is so exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You can't imagine, I'm like a kid. I went on to find something out, and there it was, 1 and 2, 1 on the book and 2 on Kindle. And if you want to know more about me, my website is www.janinelowe.co.uk. So that's it. I have a Feng Shui page, and that's Janine Lowe Feng Shui. I think I've got 250k people following me there, where I put on Feng Shui tips and things like that.
Wonderful. And we'll be back with more of Janine after these words on the Om Times Radio Network.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Hi, this is Bill Maher. I can find humor in almost anything, but one thing I never laugh about is cruelty to animals. If you don't get the joke either, write People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, 501 Front Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510.
Back on Destination Unlimited, my guest this week, Janine Lowe. We're talking about her brand new, just published book, Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance. Janine, how does Feng Shui impact financial success?
Interesting question. Basically, as I said, every part of your house has a different energy. And so if you want to bring financial money, wealth into your house, you have to work in that area. Now, you have to literally, can I just take the Northeast because it's just easier?
Absolutely.
I'm a bit of a picture girl, right? I'll talk about my house. So in the Northeast, you have to make sure that there's no clutter. And everyone goes, oh, clutter. But literally, what should be in there is the only thing, okay? So for me, in Feng Shui, my house in that area happens to be in the kitchen. Okay, so the Northeast element is earth, okay? And when you deal with elements, there are supporting elements and negative elements, right? So in the Northeast, the supporting element is fire. So it's lucky that it's in the kitchen. So my cooker has been placed specifically in an area in the kitchen to enhance my wealth. Now, the heart of any Feng Shui is always in the kitchen. When you move into a house, you always put everything in the kitchen first. This is a form of actually bringing wealth into your house and abundance. When you leave a house because you're moving out, the last thing you take out is from the kitchen. So the idea is that you take your wealth with you. So that this is without it being in the Northeast. But lucky for me, my kitchen is in the Northeast. So what I have in the Northeast to make sure that I keep bringing the wealth, in my Chinese astrology, the tiger is wealth to me. So I found the tiger in the kitchen, which is at 30 degrees, which I talked about before. And outside, because the energy outside your home brings in a lot more faster energy, shall we say, I have got a water feature outside the house at 30 degrees. Right. So it sounds like it's being very precise, but I know the actual precise positions are what make the difference. You can do lots of things in the house, but if you put water features in the exact area, that's when the magic happens, shall we say.
You had mentioned earth. Do you also have plants in that area?
I have plants in that area and also rounded leaves. You don't want to have like cactuses or anything. Cactuses are very spiky, so they tend to go in the south where there's fame. So it's rounded edged plants. Also, I don't have, other than outside, I don't have water. I wouldn't have water. So although mine's placed on the oven cooker, I don't have the sink near it.
Do you have a special recipe that you prepare?
Well, you laugh at that, but I mean, there's certain things that I do on certain moons and certain auspicious days in that area to bring wealth in. And yes, it does. It is all about cooking something at a special time. But I mean, my main thing is I'm good at roast chicken, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, that's it. So financials can be brought in there. And I think it's important that wealth, as in money, is brought into the house because that's just an exchange of energy. But we have to do it in our times. It's the only way. Also, the other thing that I keep there in my office, which is not in the Northeast, but my office in the Northeast of that room, I keep all my financial stuff. So I'm taking it from the house, I'm taking it from outside in the garden into the house, into the room I'm working in. So in the Northeast of my house has all my financials, but it doesn't have my bills. Okay. The idea is it's about the good stuff, and bills are not good stuff. So you keep everything. So what you're doing is you're manifesting outside into the house, into your office, wealth coming in.
It's about credits, not debits.
Absolutely. You don't want that bill sitting in that corner. And also, there's another Chinese astrology thing that they say, if you send out an invoice, although we don't do that nowadays very often because it's mainly by email, you send it in a red envelope. And in the 20 years or 15 years ago, before we used to email as much, I used to send my bills out and get all my clients to, and inevitably the money would come back in the same day from a different source. It's very weird, but it works.
Red envelopes are very special, aren't they?
Yes, they use them when they get married, in China and that, because the idea is that the person who's getting married, they give you an envelope. I think it's with trying to think what's in it. Forgotten now, but like some sort of fruit, and you have the fruit, and then you put the money. So, like, they don't go and buy you a tea set or anything out there. They give you money so you can do what you want. So the idea is putting a gift there and a gift back is the auspicious way of doing it.
Aside from your own success story, can you give us an example of someone who had a financial transformation using your techniques?
Okay, so I'm going to have to go to a client as in a company. This company was in the print. I say was because he retired. He was able to retire after using me for 4 years. So basically, he used to say when I would come in once a year and sort out the factory and the offices and everything. And he used to say, and his sales staff, as soon as I walked in the building, the phones used to ring. He said, can't I just have you here all the time? So when I go to Feng Shui something, I immediately become that person on the journey there. I think about what's happened in the journey there. So when I meet the client, I can then talk him through what happened in my journey. Is this what's happening in your business, etc.? We then go through that. Then we pinpoint for that year using something else, which is actually in the book called Flying Stars. And each year there is a star that is powerful for wealth. So you always have the Northeast, but there's an even more powerful one. And I've actually put it in my book because each year it moves. And I've given you up to 2052, where it is every year. And basically, I go in, I pinpoint the area. He then obviously puts a water feature there on a certain day and a certain time. And then the company, 100% they'll tell you this, just makes money. They have to have their sales guys out selling and all this sort of thing, but it all seems to flow. So as I said, he retired 4 years ago. No, I worked with him 4 years. He retired, last year actually. So yeah, it's an interesting concept using it, but it really works, really works.
I know a lot of people who hold on to everything. They never clean the clutter out of their homes. You had talked about that one woman who kept her husband's clothes in the romance or the relationship corner of her house. How does clutter affect the flow of energy?
Okay, so obviously a lot of people talk about clutter, whether it's manifesting or Feng Shui. So this is how I see it. So when you don't know what to do, this is when clutter starts to arrive in different areas of your house. You always have somewhere you think, I'll just get around to doing that next time. And you just put it there. So you start to have like old mobile phone connections, old diaries, etc., etc. And the energy then becomes quite stale. And because the energy of the area is trying to break free, nothing starts to happen. For example, I was working with a lady in London, and she wanted to meet a partner, but she wanted to move to Brighton. Okay. So when we found out where it was, she had this room in her house and it was actually a bathroom, but because she didn't want to use it because it was really cold and unloved, she used to just put anything in there. So she put anything in there, from boxes to jigsaws to old clothes. So it just became a dumping ground, right? As it turned out, it was exactly where she needed to be, not having that, because her man that she was going to meet was actually in the bathroom. As soon as we started distributing the clutter from like trash to charity to reusable, things started to move. And again, I seem to think 3 months is the lucky thing. She met somebody and is now living in Brighton.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
The clutter's a hard thing because some people they never see it as clutter. It's their belongings, yeah, and they love it all. I mean, you see these TV programs where they go in and they've got like paper bags and masses of stuff, yeah, and you're like, oh, how did you get to that room? But because I found that people hold on to clutter because they don't want to face reality. This is not for everybody. But as soon as you start to move that energy out of the area and disperse it to where it should be, or charities or whatever, the energy starts to feel all thing. If you think about a wardrobe that you don't open, when you open it's really musty, yeah? Mm-hmm. That's the sort of thing that's happening in an area which you just put clutter. So as soon as you open the wardrobe and the smell comes out, it starts to breathe again, doesn't it? So that's what happens in the areas that you don't declutter. And then when you clutter free, and also it feels so good. I mean, he's emptying a drawer. You know, I think, I'll just spend 15 minutes. I had a load of my mum's stuff delivered when she passed, had to sort it all out, and I just left it somewhere. But as soon as I start working on it, I feel better.
Absolutely.
It's a good feeling.
You know, that brings up an interesting point. I'm not sure about in the United Kingdom, but here in the States, we have a lot of rental storage facilities outside of the home, and a lot of people take their clutter and move it to an outside facility where they pay a monthly charge for storing it. Is that something that's negative, to take that same clutter and move it out?
Well, yes. If I'm being honest, it's interesting you should say that, because my partner, he has he lives in a different house. Obviously, we all got together in 2020, and then he moved back in for his place. And he has this garage that he's rented. It's £300 a month, or 150 times 12, yeah. And then he's been doing that for 10 years. So how much money is that?
A lot.
A lot of money. Plus, when I went there, it had like 5 golf bags. And I'm like, well, why don't you give 4 of them to someone that would really appreciate them? But some people, it's just they can't let go of it. I have to be honest, I don't rent space. I couldn't even think that would be a thing to do. To me, it just seems mad, financially mad, shall I say.
Financially mad, and again, you're holding on to that old energy just outside of your home.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and also with clutter, my biggest thing is it could be just helping other people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Donate it if you have something that is still in good shape and clean. Donate it to someone who can use it. Absolutely.
I know a lot of people hold on to Christmas decorations years after years, and they don't use them. And it goes back up in the loft, and we'll buy some new ones. And yet, one of my friends, her mother just passed, and she said, I've got all these Christmas decorations. You know, I said, perfect timing. Just put them on. I don't know if you have on Facebook, there's something called Marketplace in this country. And you just get people and they donate, and you don't get paid for it or anything, or you can. And she put them on, and within hours, they had all gone. Can you imagine the difference that's just made to someone else's Christmas?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You had mentioned one of the areas, the guas, the corners of the home, as helpful people. Tell us a little bit more about helpful people.
So the north, each area of the Lo Shu, it's called, or Bagua, is different areas. So the northwest we call it helpful people. It's also the father of the family, or the male energy of the house. So helpful people can be, I often tell my clients or people I'm teaching to put a manifest board up there. Now people go, manifest boards. But I don't believe in you have to, when you put a manifest board up. So if you put a manifest board up for helpful people, you put in your mentors, you put in people that help you in your life, you put in friends and family that you want on, not just anybody. But when you decide what you want to happen with that person, like with Louisa, she just wanted to meet people, yeah. So when we realised that cats were what she wanted to do, I know we laugh now, but we put the charities for cats on there, and then it sort of blended into what she wanted, and then she started actioning it because she went to the Northwest and the pictures were continually up there. But some people want mentors to help them, and you, by putting them up there and also taking the action to contact these people, you start to see that energy moving as well. So helpful people is a big thing. You know, you can put your mum, your dad. Evidently, I'm in these manifest boards in my clients and everything. So the idea is just to bring in the people that will be helpful for you.
Absolutely. What role does intention play in this practice?
Okay, so I am a huge manifester. So intention, I've actually covered intention in my book, Feng Shui to the Way to Abundance. And basically, intention is everything. You know, the universe is listening to what you say. I always think it is listening. And if you put out your intention and put it out with, I was going to say so much intention, but that you really want this to happen, that's like intention's like manifesting. So what you do is you think what you want. Like when I wrote the book, I needed someone to help me because I had a car accident in 2001, and I had to learn to read and write again. So I wanted someone to come in and help me to make sure that I knew how a book should be written, and also check that my writing was great and all this sort of things. So I have a way of reversing things sometimes. So when I wrote my first book, she came in and she helped me with that, which was great. And since when I wanted to write this book, she's like, "Oh, Janine, there's loads of them out there." And I was like, "Yeah, but I want to make it really simple." So she did come in, and unfortunately she passed last year, which was, she's never got to see this book come out today. But she knew what I wanted, yeah, but I didn't. So she gave me the steps to make my manifested intention of this book come true. As soon as she knew that my passion behind it was to write this particular book, she was there. So she gave me the steps. So what I'm saying to you is, when you manifest or have intention, you have to work out the steps beforehand and include the intention to get what you want. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. My guest, Janine Lowe, will be back with more after these words on the Om Times Radio Network.
Humanity Healing International is a small nonprofit with a big dream. Since 2007, HHI has been working tirelessly to bring help to communities with little or no hope. Our projects are not broad mandates, nor are they overnight solutions, but they bring the reassurance that no one is alone and that someone cares. To learn more, please visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Imagine yourself being transported to India, to the banks of the Ganga and an ashram in Rishikesh. Visualize that you are welcome to satsang with an American sannyasi who shares the wisdom of her guru. Your visualization has manifested. Join Sattvi Bhagawati Saraswati for inspiration and transformation every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Om Times Radio.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Back on Destination Unlimited, my guest this week, Janine Lowe. We're talking about her brand new, just published book, Feng Shui, Your Way to Abundance. Janine, what are some of the common misconceptions about Feng Shui that you address in your book?
So people buy things off the internet, yes, without actually going into the history of it. So someone might buy the frog. Everybody knows about the Feng Shui frog, yeah? And they think, I'll just tell you the story about the Feng Shui frog. So the frog, when you want to bring wealth in, you face it out the door. At night, you give it a rest and you turn it round, right? But people think just by having the frog, yeah, the money will come through the door. When you can buy objects, I'm all for all that. I have coins on my front door and various things around the house, but you also have to action it. So I suppose the common mistake for me is that people will go, oh, I bought that and it hasn't actually worked, and actually what we're saying is you need to put the intention in, do the action and make it work. Common other mistakes is people giving, but can I give an example, right? So, when someone likes to have a clean house, yes, you'll go to under their sink, I don't know if you have under sinks there, cupboard, and they'll have every cleaning item that you need. Just been launched, a new cleaning product to clean your bathroom, yeah? They've got it under their sink, but they haven't actually used it. And the house really does need a really good clean. But because they've actually bought it, they think that happens. So, for example, when people buy my book, Feng Shui, Your Way to Abundance, if you take the advice that I give, then things start to happen. It's about actioning it rather than just saying, oh, I've got this and I've got that, so this must happen. But a lot of people do that.
Absolutely. It's not just getting the cure, it's using the intention with the cure and the positive energy with the cure. Absolutely.
I have people send me WhatsApp pictures. If I buy this, will this happen? And my answer is, right, so you're buying a couple of dragons to put outside your front door. What are they there for? Oh, they look really nice. No, they're there to protect your house. Are you feeling threatened? What's going on? And they'll be like, oh no, I just thought it's pretty. So they bought them just because they're pretty. Yeah. So it's about that I think is one of the top things that go wrong. Also, the other thing, I've just realized the other thing. So when people use the Feng Shui to declutter this particular area, say we're looking for good fortune, which is in the southeast. So they go over, they declutter it, they put a fish pond outside and everything. And then, so they've done it. So they've done it that day and it's, magic's already starting to happen. Yeah, love it. And that. And then they don't do anything for 2 months. Yeah. So it gets dusty. You might have had something happen in the area. You dropped a cup of tea over it or whatever. And they, one would hope they would clean the tea straight away, but I'm just giving examples. The answer is when you're manifesting in that area is to continually keep it clean, to continually keep it decluttered. You can have that enthusiasm at the beginning, but you need to keep it up if that is what you want to happen.
Absolutely. Are there Feng Shui practices for health?
So health area is in the center of your building. So when I said where you stand with the compass, if you go like a foot around that, that's the health area. So the idea about the health area in Feng Shui is to keep it clean and tidy. I don't believe, this is my personal belief, that Feng Shui can heal you. I think you need to get alternative people in and see your doctors and that sort of thing. But what I do believe in is if you keep the health area clean and tidy and just in a really good thing, that it helps your mental and your own health. If you have something seriously wrong with you, then I don't believe, and I'm sure people would talk me down on this, that Feng Shui is the answer. I think it's a complementary thing that you can use for your health.
And you talked about mental health. With the amount of stress that people are experiencing in the world right now, may Feng Shui be used for peace of mind?
100%. So if you think of the house as a living energy, if you think of your front door as your mouth, because that's what it is, keep that clean and tidy, your windows are your eyes, so you keep that clean and tidy. If you have a roof, not a roof, what do you call it? A loft, that is your brain, that is your head, and often people just stuff a load of stuff up there because they want to keep it, but they don't know why they want to keep it. So different areas of the Feng Shui in your house are different parts of your body. So if, say, you had a bad leg, that's sort of, I think it's the Northwest. I'd have to bring my book out because I don't deal so much with health. If people come to me with health issues, I give them like acupunctures and Reiki and obviously their doctors. But I think if you think of your house as your body, if you keep it all clean, decluttered, you're doing the best that you can for your own health, because the house is a living thing.
And what about the source for stress in today's modern world? Electronic devices, cell phones, internet, televisions.
I know. Well, I mean, they all say that you shouldn't take your mobile phone to bed for obvious reasons. This is a big Feng Shui thing. They say you shouldn't have a TV in your bedroom. You shouldn't have plugs in the walls. So to bring down the EMFs that they put off. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because when my mum was passing, I had to take my mobile phone to bed with me because we don't have so many landlines over here anymore. Everyone seems to have mobiles. But you can put all of these onto a quiet mode if you need to. So as for computers and the, I don't know if people still have those stand things, where the computers aren't all in one. They have what's that thing called where you used to put floppy disks in? What's that called?
Floppy disk reader?
You're as good as me, aren't you? No, anyway, a lot of them say there are machines that you can buy, health machines you can put beside them, or crystals and all that sort of thing. My big thing about stress is with your computers and that is you should only go on them for three hours a day. I know we have to work sometime on full time, but on your phones or your TV or that, I think, what you watch, comes into your body. If you watch a horror before you go to sleep, you're going to have horror dreams. So for me, to get the best stress is to have a routine before you go to bed to de-stress you, so that you have a cup of chamomile tea, turn your phone off, don't go into TV mode, don't go into Kindles and read things and that. Just have that half an hour before you go to bed is really good Feng Shui to just bring your body down. The other thing is people talk about mirrors, you need a mirror in your bedroom. Well, you shouldn't have a mirror in your bedroom, but you can put a mirror in your wardrobe. So when you close the door, you don't have that mirror. So you see yourself during your sleep. So there is a lot of things that you can do, but my best advice is half an hour before you go to bed, turn off all machines, and also make sure there's no electrical things going on in your bedroom. If you've got to use a hairdryer, use it in another room, that sort of thing.
And meditate, do yoga, relax yourself.
100%. I used to be one of these people that just jumped out of bed and got on with things. I was listening to, I think you have something called can't remember what her surname is now, really famous person. And I was listening to her, Mel Robbins, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was listening to her manifesting, and it said, before you get out of bed, or was it her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, one of those. And it said, before you get out of bed, you should spend 5 minutes thinking of the positive ways that you are going to have in your day. If you can't do 5 minutes, do 2 minutes, but think of the day and begin the day with positive thoughts. Now I have, because my mind's always so full of many, many things, I thought, right, I'm going to try this. So that's what I do. First thing before I jump out of bed, I'll set the alarm beforehand, and I will just lay there and just think the day ahead and think positively about it. Also, if there's something I want to be done in the day, I will go to that Feng Shui bit of area in the house and do some cleaning and sorting. Yeah. Or playing music. Just playing music in that area is bringing the vibration up.
Absolutely. Her name is Janine Lowe. Her book just published today, Feng Shui, Your Way to Abundance. Janine, one more time, please share with our listeners where they can get your book and find out more about you.
So I am up for sale in Barnes and Noble, Amazon. It comes out in the America 1st of January, so not too far away. You can pre-order it now. My website is www.janinelowe.co.uk. And if you'd like to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Janine Lowe Feng Shui, and my Facebook is Janine Lowe Feng Shui. And I've got 250,000 followers, so I drop things in there all the time to help you.
Wonderful. Janine, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom and your experience.
Thanks, Victor. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
And thank you for joining us on Destination Unlimited. I'm Victor, the Voice Furman. Have a wonderful week.